So about skills, and as your skills develop, you're flying a new trick. You've just tried a new trick. Do you put it into your routine right now?
How well can I fly the new trick is then the question. So if I can fly, thank you, I can do the new trick.
I may have read this thing a few times.
That's true. That knows what I should be talking about. If I have a trick that I can fly 5 out of 10 times, looks really cool when I fly it 5 out of 10 times, and yeah, no, I'm not going to fly it for an audience. I cannot do that. The risk of that thing going catastrophically wrong is 50%. Then you crash, maybe you wrap your lines up. It's one thing to have a crash and you're going to be like, oh, okay, wingtip wrap, floop, and you're back flying again. It's another thing to have, for whatever reason, that line wrapped up sideways around your kite a few times, and now you're going to need a ground crew. And that ground crew was also looking at what you were doing and may not be in the spot that you need them to be because that's where you crashed. So the whole thing now sets you back 30, 40 seconds out of your 3.5 minute routine. Basically, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Don't do it, is my advice. Fly the trick that you can do 9 times out of 10. Take a little bit of risk. If that 10% is still a risk because you're feeling on the field when everybody's watching and you're all by yourself there. There's a different pressure. And that 9 times out of 10 trick or maneuver or landing is, or slide, that's a difficult trick to do perfectly when you have to. That 9 times out of 10 trick becomes more difficult in a performance. So that is, if you can fly that thing 9 times out of 10 on your own field, you can probably fly it 7 to 8 times out of 10 in a demonstration. That is an acceptable risk to me. The 5 times out of 10 is not. Yes, sir?
2 more things about that. They have to fit the music perfectly.
Yes.
First. And second one, I went through a routine and I did 540, slot machine, something else, accent. And then the judge told me, oh, I like all those accents. They don't make a difference. So do the easy one and perfectly to the music.
Yes.
It'll be much better.
Do not overdo it on tricks.
Yep.
Is my advice on that, and I'm sure that's somewhere in this little thing as well. Do not overdo it on tricks. You take in a risk. And I see so many tricks done because the flyer can do them and they want to show them off. And I'm like, huh, I saw a trick, but I didn't hear a trick in the music. Well, guess what? I don't like that anymore. And that person, that flyer, just spent a whole lot of risk and it's getting nothing out of it because it wasn't there in the music necessarily. So, use your tricks sparingly. Use them where they count. Use them where they accentuate your music and where the music accentuates your trick. There is a whole lot of people, especially if we're talking general audience, they don't know what a trick is. They're going to come up to you and ask you if you need a tail for that thing. Right? That's weird flippity-flop stuff. However, if you can do your trick neat and clean, and you do, say, a backflip, the kite's falling straight on its back, and it flips right back up. Or you're doing a lazy Susan, the kite's falling straight on its back, rotates once, and flips back up. You can do it on the different angles, but these are the basic in and outs of that. If you can do those tricks cleanly, right here, kite falls down, doesn't drift sideways, doesn't fall down, but right here, hangs there for the duration that is dictated by the lull in the music, flips right back up when that beat starts going, bam, bam, you're out. That precision in that trick, keep that trick very local, keep that trick where you started it, don't let it drift, glide, fall, anything else. Now, that trick becomes very obvious because it was supported by the music. And instead of, do you need a tail? It's like, oh my God, that was awesome. And the music did that for you.
That's a goosebump moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And the funny thing is, what that is, I think, is contrast. It's the contrast from flying a straight line into something else. You can get almost the same effect, in my opinion and experience, with a hard stall, which is so much easier to do and so much less risk. You fly a straight line, you get that hard stall in there on the wall in the music, and when the music picks up again, you keep on flying. Boom. It is easy, it is dramatic, and everybody will go, oh my God, I didn't know the kite could do it. It's cool. It's, yeah.
Well, without going into full detail and interrupting the flow, in here is trimmed down music. Not being tech savvy, I can turn my computer on and I can move my mouse around the screen, and that's it.
Mhm.
If anybody, we can discuss it now or afterwards, somebody come up and explain to me, what programs do you use to trim the music?
I'm
Where
not
do you
tech
find
savvy
them?
either.
That's me.
I need the details, how to go about it, how to get it off of here.
It's a
this
very
point,
good
or
question.
this
Yeah.
I think it's a tool, it will allow you to get access to a lot more music that is fitted to your needs than what is currently out there. I have been cheaping out in that I have been looking for music that fits my time constraints. Not entirely true. I had a routine to Rhapsody in Blue, which is 16 minutes long. So I picked and chose and had a sound technician put that together for me. That was.
But how would I be able to?
Be
do
friends
that?
with the sound technician. That's how I went about it. No, you're correct. Please address and.
Yeah,
and
I meant to put
we
that
all
in the back
know
of that
how
book.
to contact Nick over there because she put that in
It's
the
that
workshop.
email address in there.
It's indeed, it's not covered in the workshop.
I had it
Nick
written
will be able to
cover
help you
here.
with that
Okay.
and get you links to the right free software.
That's just getting back between that and you said the trick has to be obvious. And if you are editing your music, you can overemphasize it.
True.
And I've seen some routines at World Cup that I have been looking at on video without the sound, and oh, wow, okay, that's playing. And when I saw it in real, I said, wow, because they had just the right boom
Yeah.
at the right place.
Scratch.
Absolutely. The only thing that I have to say about that is I've seen some routines that were built around tricks that way, and they become very clinical. They become a showcase of my technical abilities rather than emotional.
Yeah, I mean, that has
It
to
is,
be
it is,
natural,
it is
but
a
can
danger,
add
if you will.
Yeah.
But absolutely use those editing
Add
skills.
obviousness.
Yeah, exactly. Everything in moderation, everything in balance. Yeah.
I think to go the music and how do you shorten it and all that, it goes all the way back. We have the technology more available to us. but,
Yes.
When I first did it, I did it on cassette tape. So I literally would stop the cassette where I wanted.
You're old, Scott.
Yeah.
You've been waiting.
And then I would give it to a guy who, a friend happened to be tech savvy, and he would put it in digital form for me.
Yep, that's
So,
more or less how I did it as well.
Marker.
I'm not gonna do that myself, essentially. I can't, I don't have the skills.
Now, I've actually messed with those programs, but it makes it difficult. So there is, first to have the idea, and then to be able to do it. So it's not an easy one. That's a great question.
I thought so too, so.
So we
This is-
also
this is-
contact Nick to do our music?
Sure.
Basically. Yes.
Wow.
Gladly.
Yeah, like she.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
gonna wanna do that when 100 people contact you, Nick, yep.
I think we can be.
Hey, I would love
think
it.
we can be happy if
'Cause
100
that-
contact, exactly, that's
Yeah.
100 demonstration flyers.
Yes, exactly.
There's a bunch of apps available for your phone, and Windows 10 has a sound editing software. Yes.
Yep.
Windows 10 does?
I can't find it.
Do a Google search and it'll show you where it's at.
Just a handful.
And I'm not being
Yeah.
glib, I'm just,
I will be honest that I am well, I do have a university degree, but I a lot of times joke that I went to Google U because whenever I need to look up something and people are like, so how do you do this? I'm like, oh, you do it this way.
Yeah.
yeah, so I did a
Send
sound
them the link
editing
from
app
Google.
search,
Mhm.
and one of them is people also ask, how do I edit audio files in Windows?
Yep.
And it says first download audio file from your digital video recorder, which is in Windows. Anyway, so, yeah, just do a little research, it's not hard.
Hey, Nick.
Also, really, something that I should add real quick, back to what Paul was saying about beats per minute and stuff. There's a really cool system that's already built into Spotify, I believe iTunes, and SoundCloud that you can select beats per minute, style of music, genre, feeling, activity,
Cool.
and say, okay, give me a playlist. And it'll be like, all right, here's 150 songs that are 60 beats per minute that
You
are
never told me about
happy and poppy. No, I like you just kind of like
this.
digging through music, yeah. So that will help kind of refine all of that down.
Is there a simple software for editing, once you find something and the time is wrong, or you need to
Yes.
take out a part that's
Yes.
too much for you?
Yeah.
That's what I need.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a handful, it depends, are you wanting to do it on your phones? Are you wanting to do it
PC.
on your PC? How about we finish this and then I'll,
Yeah.
yeah, that gets really tech
I
savvy.
think it's a really good question.
Yeah.
And I need to write it down.
Yes, yeah. Amy,
Yeah, the only thing
you're
I'd
hiding.
the only thing I'd like to add to your sources for music is when you're sitting in a movie theater watching a movie, don't forget that while you're watching this great movie and you're feeling all these goosebumps and emotions, the music that's playing behind it is what's doing that to you.
Yes.
Look up soundtracks.
Soundtracks are
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's a really good source of music.
Absolutely. I watched Quantum of Solace, the James Bond movie in the theater, and like, that sounds like Jack White of the White Stripes. That is awesome. That became a competition piece.
Connor
And
and
then a
I
demo
were
piece.
sitting in Avatar, and we both looked at each other and said, "That's mine!" He won, but yeah, he won, but it's like, you know, you have to, if you're aware of it, you may not
Yes.
be aware of it, but become aware of music.
TV commercials
Yeah.
do the same
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
I try to avoid the stupid things, but they're not always avoidable. Am I saying TV commercials? I mean internet commercials, right? Everything YouTube is now preceded by an ad. There's some good art in there, and there's some good music choices. Other people have done the work for you in many cases. Yeah.
And I'm also not techie or use apps on my phone, but there's an app called Shazam.
Yep.
It's free, and you hear a piece, you punch Shazam,
Yeah.
it identifies it within the first note, the piece, and the artist.
Like it.
Nice.
Very nice.
Awesome.
All these
Shazam.
tools.
And also look for covers.
Yeah, oh, that's true, yeah.
If I saw correctly, we pretty
You're at
much
11 o'clock, so if you
pretty
want to
much
go into music.
covered the book, we
Yeah.
pretty much covered what I
Yeah.
wanted to discuss, so I guess it's time for a little bit more interaction, even more interaction. Not now, Travis.
So, what is your view on like fully choreographing and like remembering a routine written to the song?
It works really well for some people. I know a couple of really good flyers that's the way they have to do it, that's their method. It doesn't work for me. I can't, I feel, I'm a free bird. No, I feel too constrained. I will get pressured by my choreography. So sort of a rule of thumb for me is that I hard choreograph 85% of my routine. And I leave some room for my mood, my form of the day, how did I get out of bed kind of thing, or what did I do last night, more like it. The wind, the surroundings, the environment. So I will know 85% of what I'm going to fly before I fly it.
But you're an individual flyer.
Correct. You can do that. This is very much from a dual line solo flyer perspective. You're not going to do it like that in a pair. You're going to hard and fast.
But in a team you can.
Right. You're going to hard and fast choreograph it. You've got your exits. You've got your way outs. You have to train what you're going to be doing if somebody messes up. If something gets messed up, how to exit the line, how to get back into the line. Absolutely, you got to hard and fast 100%, have that trained, have that down. I'm not an expert on that though, as I cannot speak really about that.
I'll say this, if you do it, from my experience, if you do it by yourself and you have your way, team is actually easier because you don't necessarily have to have it 100%. And it's everything is from an individual choreography to team choreography. It's almost like you have to do 1/4 of what you have to do as an individual. So slowing it down is the hardest part. So to be 100% is not, and it's even more forgiving.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
And
I've never been
fast-
in that position.
I think fast interprets just more turns, and when you have 4 people doing more turns, it just looks faster.
Yeah.
So,
It could look 4 times faster, whereas you're just flying the same speed all along.
exactly.
Cool.
So it's actually, you know, less than, as an individual, then you gotta cram a lot in there. It's hard to figure it all out and keep it sorted.
Yeah,
As a team, you got others to blame.
I like it. Does that answer what you were looking for? Cool. Anybody else at this point? Questions?
I'd like to say something really quick, just
Yep.
off topic. Your homies over there where they, in Dutchland.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Denmark, Belgium, Germany.
They're heckling you over here.
They're heckling me?
Oh, yeah, Stefan said
No,
it was
not that
actually
bad.
you competing against each other that made you better, not you changing your mindset.
Oh.
So, you know.
I'm not sure I was competing against Stefan back in 2000.
So I'll put it, I just wanted to bring that in without going into it. It's, even is awesome that Stephen and your history is even here with us.
This is, I know, and I was just about to say, but thank you very much, Steph, for being here and for
Absolutely.
watching. It's cool.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. This is what I wanted. Again, I've been thirsty for the last hour and a half, and it would have been much, much worse if I really had to do much more talking. Besides, I don't have that much more talking.
Yep.
I pretty much shared what I know at this point.
Fellowship and talking about it amongst ourselves, and David had a question. I interrupted.
Yes.
When you talk about scoring points from the audience, do you find that in a music selection that the audience, like your average person walking off the street, we all have a relationship with music, different styles, types. Somebody walking off the street and hearing or watching a routine like Sound of Silence or The Rabbit or Mission Impossible, they already have a relationship with that piece of music.
Yes.
So when they go in and are watching something to what they're familiar with and know and have a relationship with it before they see a kite routine, do you find that something to consider?
I find it something to consider. I like that. I want something that is not going to be...
Like Jurassic Park or like
Yes.
people, yeah.
People might not even recognize it's Jurassic Park, but they've heard it a few times already.
There's something that's
They know it.
subconscious.
Exactly. That music has proven itself already, because it's essentially, it's being used in a multi-million-dollar budget movie
Right.
done by a real composer for exactly the effect that we're trying to create. I use it, and I find I don't want to pick something, and it's really a bit of a vague response in a way, but I don't want to pick something that nobody's ever heard of, but I really like this cool new underground band and nobody else cares. And vice versa, I don't want to pick something that everybody has been... Let's go fly a kite. Let's go fly a kite, that song.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick that song. Regardless of the fact that it might not have the right grips for me and my style of flying, but it has been done to death. And I want to do something a little bit
We've all heard
original, surprising. So that balance is an interesting one. There's a lot of room though, I feel.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Can I share some? Oh.
Do you ever need to get permission to use this music?
On an event, it is my understanding, and I've never heard otherwise, that is bought off. The music rights are bought off when you're at an event, by the event.
You're talking a professional performance versus a demonstration at a kite festival
No,
event.
I'm not. I'm talking about a kite event.
Okay.
The music rights should be in the permit for the event. That is how I always understood it. I also haven't, I'm very aware I'm on